Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Patriots Real Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theodis Nuss, joined alongside Austin Ray, and we have a guest, Sam Loewenstein. Today, we are going to be doing a Patriots Giants preview podcast. But before we start talking about that, Austin, Sam, how you guys doing today?
Doing well. It's nice to be on for the first time ever, and it's great for the Patriots that they're 10-2 right now. Drake May, he's done amazing this season.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Welcome, Sam. And yeah, Patriots are doing good, so I'm doing good.
Exactly,
Yeah.
same with me.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you could say it's a tale of two sides. I don't know if that's the expression, but the Patriots 10-2, the top of the AFC, and then the Giants, the only team eliminated from the playoffs at 2-10. But this Giants team is not that bad. You look at their roster; they have really good players throughout the entire defense, even though it is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They have Jackson Dart. They had Cam Scatterboom, Malik Neighbors. Injuries have hurt them so far this season, but this Giants team isn't so bad. So, Sam, if you want to kind of talk about overall this Giants team, what has gone wrong, how'd they get here?
Well, this Giants team, I've talked about this with people. I think this Giants team is in some ways similar to the Patriots last year. Good quarterback, young quarterback, and Jackson Dart as a rookie. Drake May for the Patriots last year. He didn't really break out. Jackson Dart's actually had better stats than May this season. Jackson Dart, 7 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And you look at these last 3 games for the Giants, they lost by 4 against a solid Chicago team, lost by 7 to Green Bay, and then 7 to Detroit, who is one of the premier teams in the league, similar to how the Patriots last year might take a second to boot up. But a lot of the games they lost, those were close games they were in. They just couldn't get it done in the big moments.
Yeah, Jackson Dart has been really, really good so far this season. He has been injured a lot, so he's going to have to figure that out because you don't want your starting quarterback to go out with 2 or 3 injuries a season like he has been doing. But yeah, so Austin, you want to get us started on the injury reports?
Yeah, so starting with the Giants, there's some pretty notable names on here. So right now, we know that Kayvon Thibodeau is out, he's a big name on that Giants defense. And there's plenty more. They got both 2 of their top wide receivers in Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson are not out, are questionable, sorry. And then again, Dexter Lawrence is another huge name that's questionable. This Giants defense is going to be possibly missing a couple big names, but they're also getting the return of their quarterback Jackson Dart, who could, I don't know, we could see an amazing game from Jackson Dart, or he could come back from his injury and be pretty lackluster. So I think it's all dependent on how he's feeling that day. Then on the Patriots side, we got a couple. Sorry, one sec. Let me just switch my screen here. We got a couple big names here again. We had a lot of injuries against Cincinnati. Will Campbell placed on IR. Jared Wilson is doubtful. He probably not going to play. Still missing Milton Williams. Alex Austin on the IR. Harold Landry questionable. Brendan Schooler questionable. And Kyrus Tonga questionable.
Yes. So I believe it was Jared Wilson and Brendan Schooler as the only 2 non-participants today at practice, outside of Alex Austin, Will Campbell, like we said, or like you said, on IR. So those are the 2 guys that you.
And Harold
Yep.
Landry, I think.
That was
I think
yesterday, I
Harold
believe,
Landry, right?
but
Oh
I
yeah,
believe
yeah,
Harold
you're right.
Landry
Yeah.
was there today. But yeah. So those guys, you're gonna probably be missing Schooler. He went down with a pretty bad lower leg injury. I think it was an ankle. And then I just talked about Brent Schooler. And then Jared Wilson, a guy that we thought could be out for 4 to 5 weeks. He's not even in a boot. He's walking around the locker room fine. I've heard. So how big is it, Sam, that you might be getting your rookie left guard back sooner than we expected?
Well, that's a huge thing for the Patriots. Jared Wilson, he's done very well. A lot of people have talked about Will Campbell, but Wilson's had himself a very solid year. We've seen it with the amount of time that Drake May's had to throw. He's actually been able to find the deep balls because he's had the time to throw the deep balls. Last year, that was the issue. Drake May still had the arm talent that he does this year. Of course, he's developed a little bit more, of course, but the offensive line was absolutely lackluster. Vidarian Lowe is playing with a torn labrum, which is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous and explain why he struggled so much. His really very low numbers, but Jared Wilson has done great this season as a rookie guard, and that's going to be huge going against a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau in New York.
Yeah, so the Giants pass rush, good segue there, is one of the best in the league. So you look at that pass rush, they have four problems on that defensive line. Number one, Dexter Lawrence, number one, Dexter Lawrence. Number two, Abdul Carter. Number three, Brian Burns. And number four, like you just mentioned, Kayvon Thibodeau. We don't know if he will be playing. I
I think
think
Kayvon Thibodeau's out. He's out.
he's out for sure. I don't know if he's out because I looked
That
it up,
on the Giants
but
IR it
Huge for
says
the
that he was
Patriots
declared
then.
out today.
yes. Well,
That's
okay.
huge.
So that is huge. But I wouldn't. I'd say he might be their fourth best pass rusher. Honestly, I think that
Mhm.
a lot of people are sleeping on Abdul Carter. I talked about this in the last podcast. Abdul Carter is super quick. He is super athletic, but he's just super unlucky this season. He probably had four quarterback hits on Justin Herbert in that Chargers game where the Giants actually won, one of their two wins. But he has 42 pressures on the year. You look at a guy like Brian Burns. Brian Burns has 13 sacks on the year. He has 42 pressures on the year. So he is super unlucky. He has a 12.5 quarterback pressure rate, which is amongst the best in the NFL. Brian Burns has a 12.7. And one guy, Brian Burns, has 13 sacks. Abdul Carter has half a sack. So it's kind of crazy to me how unlucky Abdul Carter is. But his time will come, and maybe this week, unfortunately, will be the time where he gets a few sacks. And Carter is going to line up against everyone. If you're wondering, is he going to go up against Ben Brown? Is he going to go up against Fedarian Lowe? He's going to go up against everyone. He sometimes lines up at middle linebacker. He'll line up on both sides. The Giants flip where they line out their edge rushers. So Brian Burns, I think he had like 7 sacks on the left side, 6 on the right side, something like that. I did the official count last week, but he is a stud. I talked about Burns also being a stud, and then Dexter Lawrence. The numbers are down, really. He has half a sack, but similar to Abdul Carter, he's still explosive. He's still a beast, and he's going to overpower you. He has 17 pressures on the year, and yeah, so he's a beast. But Austin, thoughts on this insane Giants defensive line, historic Giants defensive line against a depleted Patriots offensive line?
Well, one thing about
Well,
Dexter Lawrence, I just want to say quickly is that since
Yep.
he's a nose tackle, even if the stats don't show up, he's still
Mm-hmm.
going to be making a huge impact because he's setting
Yes.
up for guys like Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, those people that you mentioned, Theo, and that'll make a huge difference for the Giants.
Yes.
yeah, for sure. So something that we said, Kayvon Thibodeau being out is huge for the Patriots, but also, what's his name? Dexter Lawrence missed practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He was back today, but he's still out with that elbow injury that bothered him last year. So it's still up. He's probably gonna
Okay.
play on Monday if I had to say, but him being injured, maybe not feeling his best, that could be huge. That could allow the Patriots allow them to focus elsewhere on Abdul Carter and Brian Burns. So I think that there's a chance that this amazing Giants line overpowers the Patriots, but missing Kayvon Thibodeau and possibly Dexter Lawrence is huge in the favor of the Patriots.
Yes, it is huge. And we talked about now one of the things that this Giants defensive line is really good at. Now let's talk about something that they struggle against, and that is the run. The Giants are a historically bad run defense. We talked about the Bengals being a historically bad defense. That didn't really show up. The Giants are one of the worst run defenses ever. Um, Here's an interesting stat that I found on Next Gen Stats. The Giants have allowed 6.2 yards per carry on runs this year. That is over half a yard more than any other team, not this year, but in the Next Gen Stats era, which is dating back to 2016. They are allowing the most rushing yards per game, per attempt. They allowed the most 10-yard rushes in the league. And then they also allow the most yards before contact and the third most yards after contact. So they are one of the worst run defenses of all time. So hopefully, like you said, Travion Henderson can get it going.
100% Travion Henderson. This is a game that he's going to have an explosive matchup because in the last game, 18 carries, 66 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, a long of only 9. Henderson's the kind of player similar to Jahmyr Gibbs in some way. Again, not saying Henderson's at the level of a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's the next Barry Sanders, but also playing on the line, similar to what the kind of plays that he makes. I think Gibbs, but that's a little unrelated. Gibbs, 219 rushing yards, against the Giants. And as we saw with Henderson a couple games ago in that one game where he put up absolutely monster numbers against Tampa Bay, when Henderson can break out for long gains, he breaks out and he can really rack up the yard totals. I think he's going to have a huge game against New York.
Yeah. When you said I think he's going to be the next Barry Sanders, I thought you were talking about Travion Henderson. I was
Oh no,
like,
Gibbs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I laughed. Austin, your thoughts on this Giants' terrible run defense?
No, I think that yeah, I 100% agree with Sam. You know, Jahmyr Gibbs was great for my fantasy team last week, but I think that this is going to be another Travion Henderson week, similar to what we've seen the past couple weeks. When he puts up 3 touchdowns, I think he could do that again. I think that we're going to see a lot of a huge rushing attack from the Patriots. Maybe even get Ramondre some good touches as well. But I think that's just going to be a big game for this Patriots offense, running the ball. And I mean, I think that Drake May is going to get to run as well a little bit.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Drake May hasn't been that effective on the ground this year. I can pull up the stats. I don't know if anyone has them.
Really? I
I
think
don't
May
know.
has been effective. I feel like he has been.
I
Yeah, I,
don't
I agree
know.
with Sam. I think that he doesn't have
I
like
think he's been good.
I
Yeah, I
don't
could
think
be
he has
wrong.
like the overwhelming stats, but I think that he's been running when he should and running effectively when he should, not trying to force anything
Well, his
like we saw a
stats
little bit
this
from
year
last year.
running wise, he has a 4.1 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, a long of 28. Nothing crazy, but he's learned to slide. Only 1 fumble this
Yeah.
year compared to 4 fumbles last year, and
Yeah,
none
no.
lost.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. I think that he's been running well this year, just not forcing it like he did last year.
Yeah, why can't I find these rushing stats? I don't know why I can't find the rushing stats. Well, I can find the rushing stats from this year,
Oh,
but that's
oh. Sam just.
we lost
Well,
Sam, but we got to keep
sorry,
it going.
sorry everyone.
Oh, Sam
I'm
might be
talking.
coming back.
Just disconnected for a second.
Okay, I think I can't see him, but I can hear him.
I can't hear Sam.
I could hear
Is
him for 1 second. Oh,
is
Oh, I
everything
heard
better
something.
now?
I heard him. I hear him, but I don't see him. That's the thing.
That's weird. I'm gonna close out all my
Oh, you're
other
Oh,
back.
apps.
You're back.
you're
You're
back.
back.
You're back.
Okay, I closed out all my other apps. Hopefully that should help.
All right, awesome,
Okay,
awesome.
there we go. All right, back to Drake May rushing. Yeah, so the stats this year are 76 attempts for 307, 4 yards per carry. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I want to find the 2024 rushing stats because I think he had similar and I guess similar amount of games, but there were people talking about him being like I believe like a 800, 900 yard rusher, and he's not going to live up to that. So that's why I
He's still
thought maybe he's been efficient, definitely. But just like hasn't been running as much, which I guess is a good thing.
he still can be next year. I think that this is sort of just like him trying to find his spot where he should be. We got a rookie running back. He's got more weapons this year, so I think that he's just trying to find his position in between running and throwing, and I think that he's been doing it well so far.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think he's making some of those strides that are really important. I think Drake May is a Josh Allen archetype.
Yeah,
Personally, I think their play styles are very similar, but Allen, the thing about him is I'm not sure if this is a thing or not. He has had fumble trouble throughout his career, and May has improved on that a lot. So he's developed great in his sophomore season.
Are you
I
talking about
agree.
Josh Allen's fumble
Yeah,
problem?
Josh
Or
Allen's fumbles.
yeah, I can look that up real quick.
And May, because he had 4 fumbles totaled, 2 lost last year.
Yeah, I'm getting 69 career fumbles, 28 lost in his
Yeah,
career.
I think Josh Allen has the most fumbles out of. I saw something recently.
Yeah.
I saw something. It was a stat. Josh Allen either has the most fumbles of any quarterback, I believe.
And you know what? Josh Allen in his second year had 9 interceptions. What are Drake May's stats this year? Because I want to compare the two.
He was what?
Um,
4 interceptions? 5 interceptions?
Drake, I think he has six
Maybe a little bit
because
more.
yeah, I'll pull it up right here. All right, so Drake May is. I guess we could do like guess which player is which in their second year. Okay, little game. I'm gonna
All right.
switch it up. All right, and I'm not gonna say the interceptions because you know the interceptions. All right, so let's say this. So this guy in his second year, he had, and this is over a full. Oh shit. Well, I guess I just told you who it is, but Josh Allen because he played a full season. Anyways, over a full season, Josh Allen, 16 games played, 271 completions for a 58.8 completion percentage, but 3,089 yards, 100 93 yards per game, 20 touchdowns on 9 interceptions, and an 85.3 quarterback rating. So not the best second season of all time. Definitely an improvement from the first where he went 10 and 12. So 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But as I pull up the Drake May stats, anyone want to comment on Josh Allen's stats in his second year?
Well, Josh Allen, the thing about his stats is that he only, or not really about his stats, but about him, Josh Allen developed a lot later in his career. Those first couple of years with Buffalo, they weren't an AFC powerhouse just yet. That was still under the Brady reign.
Yeah, 100%.
So that second year was actually Josh Allen's first time making the playoffs, and the stats were not great. Drake May, in only 12 games, has more passing yards already. He's thrown for 260 yards per game, which is more than Josh Allen did. He has 21 touchdowns, which is more than Josh Allen. 6 interceptions, which is less than Josh Allen. A 110.7 quarterback rating, so and a 71.0 completion percentage. So Drake May is having a better second year than Josh Allen.
You guys think Drake May is a shot for MVP?
I do.
Austin, you want to go first? Okay. Let's see
So,
here. Why?
yes, I do think that Drake May has a shot at MVP. In a lot of lists that I've seen coming from ESPN, Fox, all those crews, Drake May's coming around the number 2 spot so far behind Matthew Stafford. But
Yep.
I think that Drake May, sure, the strength of schedule isn't the strongest, but it's harder than the Broncos. But I think that Drake May, to make a real MVP run, he needs to have a couple really good games coming up. I think against against the bigger teams like the Ravens, the Giants. If he has a big game against the Giants this week, I feel like that's gonna show something.
Yeah. So to me, I say Matthew Stafford is having such a good season. I think that Drake May is having an MVP season. I think Matthew Stafford is having like one of the best seasons that we've seen out of a quarterback in the last 10 years. You look at some of the stats right now. He's third in yards in the NFL, but also Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes. I guess they played the same amount of games, right? Because they've had the bye and the Patriots haven't. So third in the NFL in yards. And then the one thing that he needs to get up is touchdowns. He's fifth in the NFL right now, and he's 9 behind Matthew Stafford.
That's
So
really low.
yes, he has 21 touchdowns. And Matthew Stafford only has 2 interceptions on the year. Drake has 6. So those are the two most important stats. I would say touchdowns and interceptions. And Drake is losing by a significant amount in both of those. But all the other stats that you look, some of the underlying metrics, Drake May second in QBR behind Matthew Stafford. Let's see, completion percentage. I believe Drake is first in completion percentage. Josh Allen, or not Josh Allen. Are we talking about Matthew Stafford?
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford is actually 16th in completion percentage.
Wow,
So,
that's low.
yeah,
yes. Drake May also is second in yards per attempt, and I talked about this last week, which means that he's completing a high percentage of passes down the field as well. He's the most efficient down the field passer in the NFL.
for sure, for sure.
Yep.
Easily.
All right, Sam. I want to get your thoughts on something that happened last week. It's a little bit of old news, but the Cam Newton saga in New England. We saw Cam Newton call the Patriots fool's gold. Drake May kind of responded by saying, "Yeah, I'm not really sure what show he's on. I'm kind of just listening to everyone in the building instead of other people." Cam Newton and Stephen A. Smith both call him out. Drake May rejects the Cam Newton celebration that, yep, Austin did it right there, that Stephon Diggs was trying to get him to do. So just thoughts on that situation as a whole.
Well, personally, I think that this Patriots team, they've somewhat proved themselves, but they still need to get wins down the line. I'm not saying they're fool's gold or not. I think there just hasn't been a big enough sample size. Again, they have had one of the weakest strength of schedules in the NFL. That is a thing. I think there is, unfortunately for the Patriots, a little bit of truth in that they haven't played a lot of marquee teams. But again, when you really think about it, what I will say to that is right now in the AFC, you look at the teams they've beaten. They've beaten Buffalo 7-4. You go to the NFC, they've beaten Tampa Bay. That's a very formidable squad. Tampa, what's their record? 6-5. They're solid. Leader of the division. I think they actually have proved themselves in some ways. It's just that right now in the NFL season, you're not seeing super teams like the Chiefs of a couple years ago or even Buffalo. It's just not that direct. So there's more parity going on in the NFL, and the Patriots are benefiting from that. So I think it's just Patriots, they're a solid team, definitely, but they're going to have to do well against, at the very least, the Giants and probably the Ravens and the Bills to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
To play devil's advocate, I guess you could say that the Patriots beat a very beat up Bucks team. No
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans. I think Chris Godwin played, right?
Nope.
Or no, he didn't. Did he?
Let me
Nope. He
check.
No.
didn't play.
So yeah, I
Bucky
mean,
Irvin did not play either.
the wide receiver one. Yes, they did have the best wide receiver in the NFL as their wide receiver one, and Emeka Egbuka. But
Best wide receiver in the NFL?
oh, of course,
That's
by a long
insane.
shot.
It's his
He's
After
on
fantasy
one of my
part.
fantasy teams, but he's not that good.
after Stephon Diggs, Kayshawn Boutte, and Efton Chisholm, he's the best wide receiver in
Eston
the NFL.
Chisholm,
But I think
best
that
special teams guy.
my God, Efton Chisholm and
The new
his
Matthew
stats are
Slater.
his stats are nowhere near David Wallace of last year.
David
So
Wallace.
David
uh,
Walls.
Shout him
so
out.
I think that you could say that the Patriots did beat a beat up Bucks team. A lot of beat in that sentence, but
Yep.
I think that it's still a win that proves a lot.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the strength of schedule. The Patriots have the 30th hardest strength of schedule. So what's
Hardest?
that be? Yeah,
30th.
30th hardest.
Yeah. I thought
So
you said
third
yeah.
easiest. Yeah. Tampa Bay is actually behind them, but Tampa Bay, it
Who
says
has the 31st and
Tampa Bay and
32nd?
New Orleans have
New
the 30.
Orleans.
I
Yes,
thought
so
that
it's New
I'm pretty sure
What?
the Broncos have an easier one. No,
And the Broncos have a super easy schedule as well. They might be a little bit behind the Patriots though.
where
Denver,
the
they have
I think
Denver
they
at
are.
17.
They have a
that
slightly
can't be right.
harder.
That can't be
No, that
right.
might be wrong. I think you're
Um,
looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah,
I am
because
on Tankathon, which is what the NFL, which is the official like
I see you might.
draft order thing.
I'm not sure.
And so I
I
have Denver at 17, and that okay,
I
people
had
are
I had
coming
Denver at
home, so I'm gonna have
31
to mute
last.
myself.
I could have sworn I had Denver at
I've
31.
been looking at ESPN and I'm pretty sure Denver is
Yeah, why do
Yeah,
I have Denver at
I'm with
17?
you, Sam.
pretty
I'm with
down
you.
there.
I'm with you, Sam.
All
Maybe
right,
that's an old
so
source.
yeah, maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
from
have
like preseason or last season or
Yeah,
something.
that would make
yeah,
sense.
but it does have like um left. What does left mean? I don't know. Strength of schedule. Yeah, I don't know. I have them at 17. So
And let me look up NFL strength of schedule.
yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not. It says they haven't beat a tough opponent all year, or played a tough opponent all year.
That's interesting.
Even the
Okay,
Patriots.
this is a article called Sharp. Wait. Oh no, that's remaining strength of schedule.
Yeah, that was remaining strength of
This is
schedule
weird.
because it. Wait, let's see.
Toughest and
So Tampa Bay now in this ranking has the hardest strength of schedule.
well, but maybe I'm not sure what's going on.
New England right here. New England. Okay, here we go.
New
So I
England,
think.
I think has it might be the
Wait a minute.
easiest.
New England played. I mean, Tampa Bay played the Rams, the Patriots, and the Bills in back-to-back weeks. That is not
Yeah,
right.
that can't be right.
It might be
That
That's
can't.
not
that
right.
was remaining strength of schedule. I think.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Okay,
Okay, let's go
okay,
to.
I know how to find this. NFL
I found it.
standings on
I found it.
ESPN.
I found the real one. Tampa Bay is the hardest strength of schedule, in the NFL. The
Easiest to
Patriots
hardest.
have the worst. Okay, let's see. Where
Playoff.
are
Okay, I have it. Patriots
okay?
have a strength of schedule of 351. That means it's easier than the Broncos. Okay, this is ESPN. This is the playoff picture. I know this one's correct. Patriots
Yeah.
have a strength of schedule 351. That is the easiest in the AFC.
hmm I have Denver here at
Broncos have
22.
417.
Yeah, that's what I have. 417.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
could. I
Patriots
could.
have the easiest strength of schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think up until
But then,
now, I think that somewhere I read up until now, the Broncos had easier than the Patriots. Up until now,
I can pull up their schedule if you want.
Maybe it's
I
up
think.
until now because maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Let me
I
pull it
could
up
be
real quick.
wrong. I could be completely wrong here
The
though.
I got it real quick. All right, so one sec. When is the season? All right, so they played the Titans, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Commanders. No, they
That's
played the
not.
Commanders.
That's not the easiest.
Yeah, so some teams in there that are harder are the
Patriots
Eagles and
have
the
a slightly
Colts.
easier schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Colts are good, the Eagles are good, the
Yeah, the
Chargers are
Patriots
solid.
have the easiest in the entire NFL.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
The
So let
Giants have a hard strength of schedule. Wow.
yes, they do, but they're kind
Super
of
hard.
hanging in with everyone. All
True.
right, let's talk about the number one seed. Do we think the Patriots can get the number one seed?
I
Yes.
think they can. They can.
I
Yeah,
think
I think
there's a
so.
chance that the Patriots win out.
Yeah,
Fair.
I think
Look,
so. I
look at
mean, I don't.
Baltimore. They're not doing the best. They're 6-6.
Yeah.
They just got almost blown out essentially by Cincinnati, who the Patriots beat. And yes, Joe Burrow is back, but even then, that Cincinnati team, they had to kick a lot of field goals, but they still crushed them. And the Cincinnati defense held Lamar Jackson to 17 of
Yeah,
32, 246 yards, one interception, no rushing touchdowns. I don't know how good Baltimore is.
I mean, yeah.
uh, yeah.
Baltimore could go either way, but I still feel comfortable if we can control Lamar Jackson, which because he has been controlled the past couple weeks. But if we can keep doing that as he's been the past couple weeks, I think that we win that game. And
I don't.
I think outside of the Bills, we can easily win every game.
I think the Giants and the Bills are the two hardest tests. I
Well,
know that's
it,
kind of crazy to say about a 2-10 team, but just like
Third,
the
that's a tough
circumstances.
game.
Yes, the circumstances of it. You haven't had your bye yet. Your left tackle, your best defensive lineman are both on injured reserve, and that's going to be the same way for the Bills and the Ravens. But the Giants also haven't had their bye, so I guess you could give
well,
or
I think if you
bump
play like
everybody
you,
out a bit.
I think if you play as you have most of the season, then you beat the Giants.
But we don't know a Patriots team where Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Brendan
Yeah. No,
Schooler,
you're right. You're right.
potentially
You're right.
Tyrus Tonga,
Yeah.
and Milt Williams aren't playing. So we
You're
don't
right.
know how good the team could possibly be. I guess it's like because when I was watching the Patriots game against the Bengals and all the injuries happened, I was like, damn, this offensive line is going to be just as bad as last year. But it really isn't because the left guard and the left tackle are not great. I would say Ben Brown is probably the second best offensive lineman on the Patriots last year
I
at
think
center.
Morgan Moses is good.
Right. Morgan Moses is tremendous this year. He's been fantastic this season. You have Mike Onwenu, who's also been really good. And then Garrett Bradbury, he's not been the best, but a guy that got cut by the Vikings this offseason, he's been pretty good too. So you have three guys on your offensive line that have been really good so far this year. And it's not going to be like the 2024 offensive line unless you suffer another injury on that line, which would scare me because
That would
who
be
would play center?
terrible.
It would be Ben Brown at center, and then left guard you'd have to start Caden Wallace, um, or Bill Murray, who they signed to the practice squad.
Bill Murray. Haven't even heard that name before.
Bill Murray, yeah, he was here in 2020. I think he's been here 8 times. I know
Practice
that's
squad
like
guy.
yeah, he's been involved in 17 transactions with the Patriots.
I
Jeez,
believe
that's
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
17.
Anyways,
That's amazing if that's true.
yes, I think it is true. All right, let's talk about the number one seed because we kind of got off there. So, who are the teams that you think are competing? I say it's the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Colts, or do you think the Colts are out of it?
I think the Colts still have a chance. I think long shot, long shot. I think the Bills have a chance. That's a long shot
Yeah.
though. That's a long
That's
shot.
Yeah.
that's a take.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very, very long shot.
If they beat
Yeah.
the Patriots, then I think they have a chance. Cause wait, what's the rest of their schedule?
I don't know.
Well,
I'll tell you the Broncos though. Right. So they have the Commanders, who they
I'll
should
pull up
beat.
the
Right.
Bills.
Oh yeah, I got the Bills pulled up too.
So they should beat the Commanders, the Broncos, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
The Broncos should beat the Raiders. They might
yeah.
lose to the Packers. They
That's a fun
should
game.
beat. Yep. They
Right.
they could lose to the Jaguars, that they'll probably beat them.
Yeah,
They could lose to Kansas City, and they could lose to the Chargers.
yeah,
So I guess they could go undefeated, but they have 4 games that are kind of hard in a row.
yeah. No, I agree. In a
All right,
way, you
so
can compare that to the Patriots, sort of, except the Patriots scaled the
Sure.
teams back a little bit.
they only have 2 games that are hard in a row with the Ravens and the
Ravens,
Bills.
Bills, and Giants. I think the Giants. This is
Hmm.
a perfect. This is a perfect trap game. 2-10
Yep.
team, but because it's the Giants, I think the Patriots are actually going to bring their all. They're really going to bring it against
I
this
agree.
team, and I think they're going to win. How do you guys think they're going to do versus the Giants? I think they're going to win by like 7 or 10, something of that nature.
I think we're gonna have a Drake May breakout game here.
I hope so. I hope he comes and reclaims his first seating in the MVP. But
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. It doesn't mean anything if he wins the MVP and the Patriots go on to win the Super Bowl, obviously. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. But
no, the Patriots are gonna win the
oh,
Super Bowl.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think
All
the
right, let's
Rams might win it.
yeah. Okay, let's go back to the Bills' strength or schedule for the
So
rest of the
the
season.
Bills' schedule, honestly, it's a fairly they got it's they got their schedule could go either way. They played the Steelers tomorrow. They should win that game, but there is a world where they lose that. Without Aaron
Yep.
Rodgers, I think that they win that game
Aaron
against the
Rodgers is
Steelers.
playing. Aaron Rodgers is playing.
He is. Okay, I just
Yeah.
missed that. Wow.
I
Okay, and
think
then
Pittsburgh could win that. Could.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a game that could go either way, but I think the Bills should win it technically.
Mhm.
Then they got the
Yeah.
Bengals, same thing. Bills should win it. See how Joe Burrow's playing, and then maybe you can give the Bengals a shot. But I think that the Bills should win that. Then the
Yep.
Patriots, that's going to be a great game.
Yep.
I think that that's going to get flexed to a primetime spot. I think it's going to be Sunday
Hopefully.
night.
I think it's too late to do that.
Oh,
I
then
think it could be
I think the
then
possible.
Ravens is the game that could get flexed. But yeah.
then we got Browns, Eagles, Jets. I think that they lose to the Eagles, but beat the Browns and Jets.
They'll beat the Eagles. The Eagles are a terrible team.
I
I
think
know,
they
but
I don't like the Eagles.
tush push.
Yeah.
He
I don't think
fumbled on a
they're
tush push in the last game.
yeah, I saw that. That was pretty nice. That was good. That was fun to see.
That was awesome to see.
All right, so I have the Colts schedule as well. So they play the Texans, which they could easily lose. So the Texans look really good.
Yeah,
And they beat the Bills without C.J. Stroud. And then the Jaguars, they'll probably beat the Jaguars, even though I think the Jaguars are a tough opponent. The Seahawks, that's going to be a good game. Colts Seahawks,
I
and
like the
then they have to
Seahawks in that
go.
game.
Yeah, so they got to go to Seattle, and then they come home to play against the 49ers. So that's going to be, I believe that's on Monday Night Football. No, wait a minute. Do they play December 14th to 22nd? Yeah, that's Monday Night Football. And then they got the Jaguars again and then the Texans again. Wait, so they played 4 teams in 6 games. That's kind of. But yeah, so I think the Colts are going to lose at least 3 of those games.
Bless you, Sam.
Thank you.
So, you think the Colts could lose 3 of those games?
Yes.
I
Anyone?
I think the Colts could lose against the 49ers. I think they're going to lose. And maybe that game against Seattle could be a bit of a trap game. You look
Yeah.
at the
Seattle's
Seahawks.
good.
I
Look
like
at the Seahawks team.
Mhm.
They kept with it against the Rams. It's a solid team. Sam Darnold has a high ceiling. His floor is very low, admittedly, but they fought it out against Tennessee. That scoreline could have been more than 30-24. Cam Ward scored touchdown, 2 touchdowns late in the game, basically essentially garbage time.
yeah.
So that game against Seattle, that could be close. And then just
The
I mean,
Seahawks are actually 3-point favorites against the
when
Colts.
when you're talking about the Seahawks, like we've seen Sam Darnold with an elite wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. We've seen how good Sam Darnold can be, and I think that him with JSN is just another version of him with Jettas. So I think that Sam Darnold's gonna just continue to get better, like finding his rhythm with his team, and I think that the Seahawks are gonna win that game.
Hopefully. All right. Um, let's see. We got anything else? I actually have some notes on some players that the Patriots signed. If you don't mind me sharing those real quick, I did some extensive research on these guys. So Thayer Munford Jr. I called him the wrong name when me and Austin.
Thyroid,
Um,
thyroid.
yes, I was like, no, and I was so convinced that was this guy's name because I searched it up in the thing and it was like came up for him. So I was like, oh, that's his name. And Austin was like, "What are you doing, Theo?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" But anyways, Thayer Munford Jr., the guy who was on the Patriots practice squad earlier this year, he went to the Browns. roster got reverted to their practice squad. And now he's back on the Patriots. So I watched his film. He was actually pretty solid on the right side of the offensive line. He's a really good pass blocker, a very persistent blocker, but he's not a great run blocker, which is kind of what the Patriots need. But I doubt he'll play this season. Just there's two guys ahead of him. Those guys being Morgan Moses, like you mentioned earlier, and then Marcus Bryant. And then I also have him struggling with a quick rusher. And then this is actually an exciting one. Craig Reynolds. Not saying that Tyler Munford's not exciting, but Craig Reynolds, the Lions longtime running back. He only had 3 carries this year, and it was when the Lions were winning by 30. But I watched some of his preseason film. He's a very patient running back. I don't want to compare him to Le'Veon Bell, but he kind of reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. He's shifty, but he's not fast. He's not very physical, which is something that all Patriots running backs have this year. It's their identity in the running back room, I would say. His best season was 2021, so that was a long time ago, but that was also the year he got the most touches because that Lions team in 2021 was not very good. And they did not have Jahmyr Gibbs yet or David Montgomery, so him and DeAndre Swift was the running back duo. But yeah, he had in 2021 55 carries, and he had a 4.1 yards per attempt or after contact, I believe. So yeah.
That was
So
yards
that's
per attempt, I think. 4.2 yards per attempt. And then 2022, he had a 4.4 average on only 23 carries, but still, this guy Reynolds, you can throw him in. God forbid the Patriots had an injury or two. He's a solid backup.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I like him more than Terrell Jennings. I love Terrell Jennings.
I don't really like Terrell Jennings.
He's a very hard physical runner, but I think the Patriots' offensive line. I don't know if they're more structured for a patient back, but I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So I like Reynolds as well more than Jennings. But I had a little interesting stat there that was totally Patriots propaganda, as I like to say. But in 55 carries, he had 4.1 yards after contact per attempt. And then Derrick Henry on 500 carries had 4.2 yards per attempt after contact. So there's my little pass propaganda stat.
That's pretty awesome.
Um,
I think Jennings he's an okay running back. I think he's a fine
yeah.
number 3, but there were some of the plays in the Patriots last game they were giving it to Jennings. I don't get why you don't give it to Stevenson on the goal line. That's the whole
I agree.
point of why you have him. Yes, he's had the fumble issues, but he's going to clean those up. I don't mind Jennings, but I didn't understand why they were giving it to him on the goal line when
I
they
agree.
got stuffed twice.
Yeah, so Ramondre Stevenson actually slimmed down this offseason, so he's not as much of a power back as he's been in the past. I'll look at what the Patriots have him listed for, and I'll look what he had coming out. But yeah, so he's slimmed down significantly. You can tell. So one of the things that I think the Patriots need, kind of relating to this, is a true power back. Because, like you said, you mentioned the goal line. We talked about this last podcast. You need to have a guy that when you need 1 yard, that guy can face 3 guys in the A gap and get a yard.
That's what
Um,
Stevenson should be.
I know,
Yeah.
but I
That's
don't
what he
think
was
he
drafted
is.
to be, and he was
He's
that.
not.
He
He
averaged five
was
yards a carry in 2022,
best.
and
Yeah, that was the best
he's
season.
been downhill since then.
Yeah, it's just the fumbles, like you mentioned, and I don't know. I think that the Patriots need to get a guy. And I'm not saying spend a first or second or third round pick on this guy. I'm not even saying spend a draft pick on this guy. But if you can find a guy that's 240, maybe even you can get a fullback to do this for you. Just anyone that can
Hand it off to
go in.
Tonga.
Yeah, Tonga maybe,
I
right?
think they should
But
hand it off to Tonga.
That would be
I think
amazing.
so.
I would love to see that.
Yes.
Get the big
So
man some
you know
touchdowns.
Tonga is
He's
only one
injured
of
though.
3 defensive players to play on offense this year. In case you wanted to know that.
That's
That
interesting. He reminds me of like back like 8 or so years ago, 7, 8 years ago, when the Chiefs used to use Dontari Poe on the goal line. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep, yep.
That was amazing. The Patriots should do that.
yes. I think Vrabel said he wants to get Tonga a touchdown this year, so hopefully.
Once he gets
Hopefully,
back.
they need it once
Hmm.
he gets healthy.
Yep. All right. Let's wrap this one up with score predictions. We'll let Sam go first. What's your score prediction?
All right, Patriots Giants. This matchup. Looking at the last couple games for the Giants, just quickly rounding out my prediction. Again, put up 27 in the last game, gave up 34. I think the Patriots are going to win this one by a score of, let's say, 24-17, 27-20, something of that nature. 27-20. I like that.
Yep, I like that. Austin?
So sort of on the same mindset as Sam. I think it's gonna be a long fought game, bunch of touchdowns both sides. But I think the Patriots are gonna win this one, 31-24.
Yeah, I really want to see a shootout. The Giants are scoring a lot of points. If every game ended in the third quarter, the Giants would be like, I think it was like 8 and whatever. They
Eight and
would be
three.
one of the, yeah, like 8 and 3. They would be one of the best teams in the NFL. But unfortunately, they've blown 5 leads in the fourth quarter this year. 5 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter this year. The last one coming last week against the Lions. So I think that that's going to be a similar story. We obviously know the Patriots don't like to play defense on the first drive of the game. So it's going to be a similar story there. So I have the Giants or the Patriots winning this one 38-34.
That's high
It's going to be,
scoring.
yes, I hope it's going to be high scoring. I don't want to see a 24-21 game, which we will probably be getting because both defenses are pretty good outside of the Giants' run defense. But yeah, I think it's going to be a high scoring game, though, just because injuries to both defenses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right.
We're gonna be there.
Sam?
Me and Theo are gonna be at the game.
Yes, we are. We're going to be at the game, so that would be
That's
cool.
awesome.
Exciting.
Yep. Yep. All right, Sam, thank you for coming on. And we will, Austin and I will see you after the game.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Sam.